The fair at Doncaster. "How would you like to go to the fair at Doncaster?" Uncle Robert said. They were all sitting at the table after supper, William and Alice, Tom and Jane, and Aunt Alice. "Yes, yes," the children shouted. William wasn't sure what a fair was, but it sounded like fun. And Doncaster was farther from home than he had ever been, nearly 10 miles. "Hush," said Aunt Alice. "I don't know what you're thinking of, to take 4 noisy children all the way to Doncaster. They'll be nothing but a trouble to you with their teasing for this, that, and the other." "No, we won't, Mother," Jane said. "We'll be as quiet as mice." 2 mornings later the Bradford household was up before daylight. Uncle Robert came in to wake William and Tom, but William was awake already. He had hardly been able to sleep at all. When Uncle Robert came in, William threw back the covers, and there he was, already dressed. He had got up and put his clothes on half an hour before. "Come on, Tom, hurry," he said to his cousin. "Don't you want to go to the fair at Doncaster?" Tom was fat and slow. He liked to put everything off to the last minute. He stretched and yawned. Finally William had to pull him out of bed by the legs. Downstairs Aunt Alice was running back and forth in the kitchen. She kept giving the girls orders and then doing herself what she had told them to do. She had a large basket on the table. Into the basket went a loaf of bread, a jug of milk, a big piece of cheese, a cold roasted chicken, and other good things to eat. "Come on," Uncle Robert called to William. "You can help me load the wagon." Out in the yard William helped his uncle put the sacks of wool into the wagon. Then the family all came out and climbed in. The wool made a wonderful soft seat to ride on. "Here we go then," said Uncle Robert. He shook the reins against the horse's back, and off they started. The sky was beginning to grow light. The light came long before the sun rose in summer. Every few minutes one of the children would say, "Are we almost there now?" And Uncle Robert would answer, "No, not yet, but it won't be long." If the children were in a hurry, the horse was not. If Uncle Robert slapped the reins against his back, he would trot a few steps. Then he would settle down to a slow walk again. Tom fell asleep. Alice and Jane whispered and giggled, but William kept looking ahead. He wanted to be the first to see Doncaster. "Look," he said at last, "there's something." "The church spire," said his uncle. "And listen, listen to the bells." "They're calling the opening of the fair," his uncle said. "We'll be late," William shouted. "Make old Harry hurry up. Make him gallop." Uncle Robert laughed. "There's no hurry. The fair goes on for 3 days, boy." But William was in a hurry just the same. Then at last there they were, in the middle of a big open space. A great tent had been set up. Around it in a big circle was a palisade, a kind of fence. Inside the fence were little tents and booths and stalls already crowded with people. William had never seen so many people in all his life. First, he had to find a place to leave the horse and wagon. The fair was so crowded with wagons that they had a hard time finding a space. Then William and Tom had to help Mr. Bradford carry his wool in. Since there was more than they could carry in one load, the girls stayed with Mrs. Bradford to guard the wagon. Other farmers had come with their wool too. The Bradfords had to wait their turn at the weighing machine, and William had a chance to look around. One part of the fairground was given over to animals. There were horses and cows, pigs and sheep, geese and chickens and ducks. They made such a noise that William had to shout when he wanted to say anything to Tom, who was standing right beside him. There were booths full of farm tools and other booths for cloth, leather, books, pictures, baskets, everything you could think of. "Stand here with the wool," Uncle Robert said. "I may as well go get the rest while we're waiting. Don't go wandering off now, and see that nothing happens to the wool. It's our whole year's crop we've brought." As soon as Uncle Robert was out of sight, Tom said, "Look, there's a juggler over there. I'm going over and watch him." "We have to stay here," William said. "You can stay," Tom said, and off he went. As the line moved up toward the weighing machine, William pushed the sacks along. They were heavy, but he took them one at a time. "Here, boy, let me give you a hand." William looked up. A man with deep black eyes and shaggy hair stood over him. "Are you all alone?" the man asked. "Yes," said William. "You don't have to stand here," the man said. "Want to weigh your wool, don't you? Well, now I know the man that weighs it. I do. Let me take it, and there'll be no standing in line." He took hold of one of the sacks. "My uncle told me not to go away," William said, reaching for the sack. "That's right. Don't you budge," said the man. "I'll take care of it for you. Then I'll come right back." He threw one sack up on his shoulder and began to drag another behind him. "No!" William called. "My uncle!" But the man didn't wait to hear what he was going to say. William couldn't tell what to do. He had never been to a fair before. Perhaps it was all right what the man was doing, but it didn't seem right to William. Besides, there was the man's low, oily voice and the smile that looked like that of a lion about to pounce on its prey. "Stop!" William shouted. "Come back with my wool." The crowds were so thick that already the man was almost out of sight. "What's the trouble, boy?" A man with a long staff in his hand stood in front of William. "That man took our wool," William said. "He said he was going to weigh it." "He did, eh? We'll see about that." "Stop, thief!" the officer shouted, and he began to run after the shaggy man. Just then Uncle Robert came back, and William told him what had happened. Uncle Robert dropped the sacks he had brought and started out after the thief. Now the fair was full of shouting. Everyone seemed to be running and yelling, "Stop, thief!" or craning his neck to see what was going on. William climbed up onto the stacks, but even then he couldn't see over all the heads in front of him. Soon Uncle Robert came back carrying the stolen sacks. "Good for you, William," he said. "They got him, and they've already taken him to the court of pie powder." "Pie powder?" said William. "What's that?" "The fair has its own mayor and police officers and its own court to take care of things like this. Dusty feet, they say the word means, from some old French words back in the French king's day." Uncle Robert stamped his foot, and a cloud of dust rose around his legs. "Not a bad word, eh? But where's Thomas?" He went away for a moment," William said. "He'll be back." Tom hadn't gotten back even when Uncle Robert had weighed his wool and sold it too. "I'll find him," Uncle Robert said, "and I'll take care of him when I do. He was told to stay here. You can go look at the fair if you like. You've shown you're big enough to care for yourself. Come back to the wagon at noon. And wait, here are a couple of pennies to spend for yourself." It was the first money William had ever been given to spend, for in Austerfield there was little to buy. William walked slowly past the long lines of booths. Never in his life had he seen so many things for sale. Merchants came here from far away with their piles of goods. Local shopkeepers bought enough to keep their shops going for a whole year. A boy with 2 pennies to spend didn't seem very important. Then he forgot about buying anything, because here came a man with printed papers strung all over his clothes. His hands were full of papers, too, and he was singing a ballad, a song about Robin Hood. Each of the papers he had on him was printed with a ballad or song verse. William wondered whether to buy a paper about Robin Hood. But he didn't know how much such things cost, and he couldn't ask the man while he was singing. But then he forgot about the ballad man because all of a sudden he looked up and saw a man walking right in the middle of the air. That was how it seemed, anyway. When he got closer, he saw that the man was walking on a rope, but this was almost as wonderful. The man was not only walking, but running. Once he nearly fell off. He stood there with his stomach stuck out and his hands making quick circles. William stopped breathing, but the people around him only laughed. Then William knew that the man was only fooling. Then another man, dressed in a close-fitting suit of many colors, came tumbling out onto a platform. He turned over and over on his hands and feet like a cartwheel. He threw half a dozen big rings up into the air and kept them all going. He climbed up onto a tall pair of stilts and strapped them to his legs. Then while he was walking around on them, he tossed all the rings in the air again. Nothing so wonderful had ever come to Austerfield. Then a woman came out of the platform. In front of her was a block of wood with 2 swords set in it. The woman stood on her hands on a bench beside the swords. Then she put her hands on the swords and held herself in the air with those sharp sword points right against the palms of her hands. When William remembered to look up at the sun, it was noon and time to return to the wagon. Still he hadn't spent his 2 pennies. He walked down another long row of booths. At last he saw just what he wanted, a penny whittle, a pocket knife with 1 blade. But just as he was about to buy it, he saw a little doll. He knew how much his sister Alice wanted a doll. After all, he had Mercy, but Alice didn't have anything at all. "How much is the doll?" he asked. 2 pence, said the woman standing behind the counter. "I'll take it," William said. He ran all the way back to the wagon and thrust the doll into Alice's hands. "It's for you," he said. "I didn't need anything." Alice cradled it in her arms. Her eyes were shiny. "Thank you, William," she said. William knew then that he wouldn't miss the penny whittle at all.